In this video, I will go through how to deal with chargebacks for your e-commerce store, because this is like one of the most important things that you need to handle when you are processing a lot of payments, getting tons of sales. So let's dive in this. But first, definitely don't forget to join Adforation. It's my Facebook mastermind group. It's free. It just started. It's just me and a couple of high-level marketers who spend tons of money on Facebook. So if you want to be part of that, and have direct connection to me, now is the best time to join Adforation. So definitely join that. And also, if you recently got flagged on Facebook, or well, you might get flagged, then definitely download my free ebook, Facebook Advanced Survival Guide. Basically, I go through all these triggers, that can flag you on Facebook, and how to also restart your promotion completely from scratch, so you will not need to always look behind a shoulder with Facebook with knife, trying to stab you, from behind. So definitely download my free ebook today. What are chargebacks? Well, first, usually when you do transaction and person, for example, will forget what kind of transaction that is, that they purchased from you, or they will not recognize your store in their bank statement, or they didn't receive that product, they will basically call their bank, say, okay, this transaction is fraud, or it was not delivered, and these people just took my money, I want those money back, So bank will then dispute the charge. You will receive the message from them in your payment gateway. For example, with Stripe, you will also receive penalty of $15 for each chargeback. Then they will ask you to send them some information about that transaction. And in sometimes even 2 or 3 months, you will get a decision. If you win the chargeback, they will give you back. If you lost the chargeback, you lost that penalty from Stripe and all basically money that they gave you. Why it's a problem to have too many chargebacks? Well, first, usually payment gateways look at those chargebacks like that you should have only 1% chargeback rate of your all transactions, right? So if you had in last 3 months 1,000 orders, but somebody charge back you 100 of those orders, you are kind of in a problem, because you are on the way to lose your payment gateway, because they don't want to do business with companies that have chargeback rate over 1%. But that 1% is not completely correct, right? Because it doesn't mean that Stripe hates when you have 1% and more, but it based also on those different companies that owns those cards. So Visa can have 1%, MasterCard I think hates people who has chargeback rate above 0.75%. It depends also on those cards where you got most of these chargebacks, and based on that these companies can throw some penalty on you as well. So but Stripe will probably already close you before that. So always try to have that's your chargeback rate in your payment gateway below 1%, in last 3 months. How you can usually get chargeback, because sometimes you can get a chargeback because of just a mistake, People spend tons of money online. They make so many different purchases online, on Amazon, on different stores, that they always forget what kind of things they actually bought, So if you have, for example, name of store, and it's not really a very easily remembered name, or you are just not one of those brands that will kind of be in their heads, there's a big possibility when they will check at the end of month their statement and they will see your name, they will just who is this, why they took my money? They will a little bit stress about this, call bank, dispute it, because they didn't recognize your transaction. Well, basically every time when you get chargeback, it's kind of a problem, right? So it doesn't matter if you'll win or lose the chargeback, you just will get chargeback. It's in that percentage of your payment gateway, and they don't care if you will win it or lose it in 2 months. They just care, okay, this is disputed, it's that, So always try to not get disputes. Well, sometimes you can't really help it, For example, if you had some problem with your supplier recently, your delivery tripled, in last couple of months, then there is huge possibility that people will charge back you, because, well, for example, I made like a couple of changes to my suppliers in January, and well, now I'm like sometimes even having delivery in like 2 days. It like pushed my chargebacks down by like 300%. I don't know how it's even possible. I was getting like tens of chargebacks every month, but since I changed that way how we deliver products, I get like fifth of those chargebacks I'm getting that I was getting before, for months, Your delivery times like matters most when it comes to chargebacks, because most of the time you will have like fraud chargebacks or your didn't get product chargebacks. I think one of the biggest mistakes that business owners do, that before they launch their store, they don't check what's their statement descriptor. I think that's like the huge problem, because sometimes like you will have in your statement descriptor something like stupid, that has nothing to do with your store if you don't change it, in your payment gateway or in your store setup. So I always put as my statement descriptor basically URL of my store, so that name and .com. If that person will call to bank and bank will tell them like, okay, there is like statement descriptor this website, then there is like a huge chance when they will check that website, they will immediately know it's coming from me, and they will say, okay, yeah, I understand, I got it like a couple days ago. Okay, so that's like super important to have like perfect statement descriptor. If you want to completely like decrease your chargebacks, then get call support, because call support will save you like so much money with refunds, with replacements, and they will save you from chargeback. It's like a huge help, My next video will be about call support, because you will put that your call support number in your payment gateway, so, or in your emails, so every time when person will get your invoice or like that receipt, they will immediately see, okay, if you want to contact support, here's email, here's phone number. And basically that's also first thing that the bank will tell them to the customer. If they will dispute payment, they will first try to contact them and deal with them, or here's number, call them. And they will try to call you, or sometimes even that bank will call you in behalf of that customer to try to like solve it, Basically they are kind of give you like heads up, that there is like a chargeback coming in your way. If you have that, you will basically be able to kind of like cover all these like problems, because your person who will be dealing with these phone calls, they will basically tell you like, okay, we received today a message, from these people, from that bank, and you will be able to like refund them before they will charge back it, because when that person will do the dispute, there is like some waiting time, before it's really like chargeback. If you will just get that information, you will immediately get option to get that chargeback, refunded, so it will not become a chargeback and it will not become a problem to you, and it will not increase that chargeback score. You really need to be like very proactive, and try to like think what kind of like things you can do to your business, so you will decrease those chargebacks. I see a lot people who are kind of like bringing those chargebacks on themselves, For example, when they ignore people who want a refund, but for example, people made a purchase with them 2 months ago, and like usually stores have that 30-day money back guarantee, and after that they're kind of like becoming like assholes, so they don't want to do refunds, do replacements, whatever, But problem is that that person can like charge back that transaction in like 5 seconds, So, and they can charge back it in like 6 months sometimes, Like some banks has like 120 days, some banks has like 90 days. So I even got chargeback, from like 180 days, So if you will like piss somebody, or you will not give them like good reason why you don't want to deal with them, like 2 months after that they purchase from you, you should really have like some good reason, why you don't want to give them refund, or why you don't want to send them like replacement, Because okay, I understand you don't need to like return their money, because they cannot return product if it's like 30 days after that limit. But you still should definitely like offer them a replacement. And if you can't, or if you don't want to give a refund to person who didn't receive product at all, I mean, they will charge back it, like very easy, and they will charge back it like long in the past, So you need to be careful, if you are like like tough and on people who purchased from you like even like 3 months ago, and you think you are safe. You are not. They will just get those money anyway, and you are just making mistake because it will cost you more, and it will increase the chargeback rate, and it can hurt your business or kill your business. Always respond to chargebacks. Doesn't matter what is it. Always respond to chargeback. It's stupid to just ignore them. If there is always like some chance that that person made a mistake, they receive it, they forget about that product, for example, or they forget about you. But if you will respond to that chargeback, to every chargeback, you will definitely like have tons of those chargebacks will win, okay? And it's again giving a message to your payment gateway. First, I don't even talk about how much money you will get back, if you will just do this and respond to every chargeback. Doesn't matter if you deliver the product or whatever, you will just always send them what you have, and then you will wait if it's like okay or not, because you will be surprised like how many chargebacks you will just win by just responding them, because like I'm saying, these people are making like hundreds of like payments, and I'm pretty sure that most people who chargebacked you, they didn't really like needed to chargeback you because they got that product, for example. At least like with me, I am like getting so many chargebacks from people who received my product, just forget about my name, okay? Just respond to all chargebacks, always try to put to chargeback, for example, like what customer ordered, that they receive it, then you give them like the transaction number. I always like send them also receipt, for example, when it's like fraud transaction, and sometimes I send them even like communication with customer support. So if it's like fraud and they are saying that they didn't buy from me, then I just send transcription of their emails, and it's like done. So always respond to chargeback, never ignore them, because that's like a huge mistake. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. Definitely also check my previous video about refunds, and tomorrow I will launch a new video about call center for your e-commerce store. So bye for now.